What if I told you that the most important years of Jesus of Nazareth's life are the years no one talks about? Not the miracles, not the crowds, not even the cross, but the 18 years where the Bible says almost nothing. So what really happened during those hidden years? And why would they be left out? Now stay with me for a moment and listen closely. Before the miracles, before the crowds, and before the name that would change history, there was silence. And perhaps the most powerful part of the story of Jesus of Nazareth is found not only in what is written, but in what is not. He was born in the quiet town of Bethlehem, not in a palace or among royalty, but in a humble manger, held in the arms of his mother Mary and protected by Joseph. And from the very beginning, his life invites a question that echoes even today. If he was meant for something so great, why did his story begin in such obscurity? Soon after his birth, danger arose when Herod the Great, fearing the rise of a new king, set out to destroy him. And so, under the cover of night, Jesus was taken by his parents and carried into Egypt, making him, even as a child, a refugee whose life began not in comfort, but in uncertainty and escape. When the danger passed, the family returned, not to power or recognition, but to a small and overlooked village called Nazareth, where Jesus would grow up in quiet obscurity, far from the attention of the world. And it is here that the story becomes almost completely silent, leaving us with only a simple yet profound statement that he grew in wisdom and stature and in favor. A phrase that hints at years of unseen growth, quiet learning, and ordinary living. We are not told what his daily life looked like, but we can imagine that he likely worked with Joseph, learning the trade of carpentry, waking early, shaping wood with his hands, walking the dusty roads of Nazareth, and living among ordinary people who struggled, hoped, and endured the realities of daily life. And yet, this raises a question that lingers. Was he simply living an ordinary life? Or was something extraordinary quietly unfolding within him? At the age of 12, the silence briefly breaks when Jesus is found in the temple in Jerusalem, sitting among teachers, listening, asking questions, and astonishing them with his understanding. And when his parents question him, he responds in a way that reveals a glimpse of his awareness, saying, "Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" A moment that suggests that even at a young age, he was beginning to understand his identity and purpose. Then, once again, the story fades into silence. And from the age of 12 until about 30, there are no recorded events, no miracles, and no public teachings. Only 18 years of hidden life that remain largely unknown. And this absence of detail invites reflection rather than assumption. Because while we may not know exactly what happened, we can understand that he lived among the very people he would later serve, experiencing their struggles, witnessing their pain, and sharing in the rhythms of ordinary human life. Perhaps those years were not empty at all, but were instead a time of preparation, a time of quiet formation, where patience, understanding, and compassion were deepened, not in public displays, but in the unnoticed moments of daily life. And this leads us to consider whether the hidden years were just as important as the years that followed. When Jesus finally stepped into his public ministry around the age of 30, the silence was broken in a way that could not be ignored, as he began to teach with authority, heal the sick, restore sight to the blind, calm storms, and even raise the dead. And people began to ask, "Who is this man?" as his words and actions revealed a power and presence unlike anything they had ever seen. Yet even in the midst of these miracles, another question emerges. Were the miracles themselves the most important part of his life? Or were they the visible expression of something that had been formed during those long, hidden years? Because most of his life was not recorded, not celebrated, and not seen by the world. And yet it was within that quiet, unseen time that the foundation of his mission was laid, reminding us that not all purpose is revealed immediately, and not all growth happens in the spotlight. The life of Jesus of Nazareth challenges us to rethink what truly matters, suggesting that the seasons of silence, the years of waiting, and the moments that seem ordinary may in fact hold the deepest significance. And so we are left with a question that reaches beyond history and into our own lives. What if the parts of our lives that no one sees are the very moments where something meaningful is being formed? And perhaps the story of Jesus is not only about who he was, but also about how he lived, growing in obscurity, preparing in silence, and stepping forward at the right time, reminding us that even the most extraordinary purpose can begin in the most ordinary places, and that what is hidden today may one day be revealed in ways we cannot yet imagine.